There you go. You have it.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Save Our Streets. I am your host today, founder of Hashtag Save Our Streets, William Rivas. And today we have our guest, Miss Lady T, Tammy Cobb, comedian, philanthropist extraordinaire, co-founder of United Sisters, and lead manager of Her Temple Monologue. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for coming. Also, we have her partner, Shavina Richardson, who is the founder of Her Temple Monologue. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to have you guys today. I'm very amazed at some of the work you guys do. So we just want to sit down and just have a real brief conversation. I want you guys to tell us, who you are, what you do, what your passion are. So starting with you, Miss Tammy.
Thank you. Well, you said it best. Like you said it best. I don't know how to top that. No, I'm just a local comedian in Albany from the 518. And I love helping my city by giving back through the two organizations you mentioned, United Sisters of New York and Her Temple Monologues. And I want to see our community grow and be at its best and at its finest, whether it's through comedy, poetry, sharing my stories, or interacting with the youth. So.
No, and I think that's absolutely amazing. Again, I had the opportunity to see some of your work at a local comedy club, and then I had the opportunity to meet you in person at a community event. So what I found the most interesting about you is that you're kind of the same person, the same personality all the time. I love the fact that you have so much passion, so much energy, and you give it in all aspects and everything you do. I think that it's a great trait for you to have. And I love the fact that you even took the time last year to come out and speak to our kids at the community youth forum at the library, and a lot of them left inspired by your conversation. So I mean, I know you're shy and things of that nature, but how does it feel to be looked at as a role model for young women?
I'm really surprised because, to be honest, I'm really shocked and surprised. And I try to do my best. Like, my path wasn't an easy path. I started off rocky. But I also know that you're not going to always stay at the bottom. Like, you hit the bottom, you got to go up. And I'm really shocked that people take away from my life or things that I do and they run with it. And I'm happy that they don't have to go through some of the struggles that I went through and make better choices. So I'm truly honored. I am also surprised because that was never my intentions, but I'm glad God blessed me to go through some of the things that I have to go through so others don't have to go through that. So I'm happy.
I think that's really the blessing in who you are and how you're able to inspire young women and women from the community. I mean, as a young lady who just kind of grew up in the area, how was it for you to follow your dreams and reach the position that you're at right now?
It was definitely a struggle because I didn't know that comedy is where I was going to land. As I was growing up, I didn't even know if I was going to have a meal or a roof over my head. So it was just something that just happened to fall in my lap in a time where I needed to come into my life to be able to allow me to open up doors for myself. And I wasn't even thinking about like my children or things. I was just trying to just put food on the table, to be honest with you. So comedy came at a great time. It was another avenue, another way of exploring a side of myself that I didn't even know I had. But people always said I was funny, but mixed up funny and crazy together. So, that's how it came about. But just to grow up in my neighborhood and being around the things that I've been around, and many a times where I shouldn't have been around, I'm here. Right. And I'm like, that's the ultimate thing. Like, I'm here, and I'm amazed every day that I'm doing the things that I actually love doing. And I'm happy that I have my children to share it with and my close friends and family to really share it with. And I'm just like, thank you, God, every day. Like every day I wake up, I'm like, thank you, God.
Well, no, and I think that's incredibly important for people to hear, because we always look at the success of people, but we never look at the struggle. We never look at the journey.
That's right.
We never really identify the path. And I think it's important for our youth to hear stories like yours, because a lot of them grow up in struggles in our communities. There's not a lot of resources. There's not a lot of people who become successful and stay in our communities of poverty. Correct. A lot of times people move on because the resources for change and for wealth are not really there. So to have someone like yourself who's come from the community, grassroots, homegrown, to be doing the work that you're doing in your life and in your business and comedy, and then to be giving back into the community, I think that's absolutely amazing. And like I tell you all the time, I don't think you're even aware of the lives or the ability you have to really impact and empower people. And you know, like I say to you all the time, I appreciate being able to call you sister and friend. I appreciate everything you do.
And I appreciate you. I be like, you my bro, really. I be like, we gotta get together and make this partnership happen. Come on, bro. So I appreciate that, like, so seriously. From day one when I met you, you always kept your word, and I said that's always been a big thing to me, about keeping words. And I watch how people move. People say one thing and move another way, but just from day one, you've always had that vision about save our streets. I need to help these children. When you shared your story with me, you know, your background of your struggles, of things that you went through, we had that similar bond, and I think that's what connected us. And I was just like, well, God, he went through all of that, and look where he at. So then I know if he been through the things I've been through, I know then it's gonna pass over for me as well. It just takes time and hard work and determination, where people don't want to put in that time or that hard work. They just think it's instant gratification. I'm supposed to. I got that chip on my shoulder. It's supposed to happen, but no.
Miss Shavina Richardson.
Yes, sir.
I gotta know. Tell us about this Her Temple Monologues.
All right. So Her Temple Monologues came about because I went through a very toxic domestic situation. And, you know, I grew up in a church, and I was always told to take care of your temple and to make sure that, you know, the things that you put in is something that you want to be able to bring out to people around you, that light, right? So when I went through that, I didn't know what was the reasoning for me coming out of it on top. But I met a bunch of wonderful women, and Tammy was included in that. And we were already in the community doing like spoken word and stuff like that. She was doing comedy. And I said, you know what, out of everything that I've been through, even though I'm doing spoken word, we don't have a platform to share our stories in order to help not only the women and the men, but to help the youth understand, like, if you're young and you're going through this currently right now, you don't have to do it, and you're not alone. So Her Temple Monologues evolved out of that, and we did our first 2 shows down at the book club. And from those shows, it was so impactful, and people were like, I cannot believe these ladies are actually being this transparent and telling their stories and sharing in depth about what they've been through. And it just evolved into this wonderful organization where we consistently now raise funds, and, you know, the money is needed in order to give back to the community and stuff like that. But it all started from going through something, and those trials and tribulations are real.
And that's absolutely amazing, because, you know, again, as people who come out of poverty, a lot of times we hide our wounds. We're told to hide our scars. And, you know, for people like yourselves to take those things and actually reveal them in such a way, and to make your lives so known and to show that power and the strength coming from your struggle, again, I just think it's an amazing aspect to bring to our youth. Because they deserve to see that truth.
Absolutely.
They deserve to see that there's power in their lives, and regardless of the decisions that they've made or some of the situations they've been in, they have the opportunity to turn around. That's kind of the importance of, you know, of what we do here, of this venue, and why we like to have guests like yourselves. It's extremely important. So if I remember correctly, recently you guys had a little bit of news coverage.
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that. What was that about?
Elaine Houston, you know, just kind of, she wanted to connect with us and wanted to learn more about, you know, the organization and how she could be a part of it, actually, and support the movement that we were doing, because a lot of the things, as you know, when we're not in the forefront to say, I did that for you. We're not about that. We do it behind the scenes. So she was like, I've been hearing this buzz about her temple, HTM, and what is it that you guys are really doing that is impacting people's lives and changing some lives? And she was like, you do this thing with the kids about, the whole So You Think You Got Talent. And I was like, yeah, and that's how we bring the youth in, and we hitting them with that knowledge about taking care of yourself as well. So, and she was like, I just need to capture this story, but I want to know, are these women really going through it? Or you know what I'm saying? Or y'all just here just performing and just doing shows for other people? And she learned, no, we live this. And we live this so much that we definitely want to be the voice, for the voiceless per se. And it has been phenomenal. It was an amazing experience. We got a chance to really just sit and just talk. And it was phenomenal. It was great. It was great. Really enjoyed that.
She was like, it's only going to be like 30 minutes. And she stayed with us for like 2 hours. So it was like amazing thing to talk with her. And, we see her on the news and stuff. And she's all about women empowerment and things. And now she actually interacting with us. I was like, jackpot. I've been waiting because I'm like so many times.
Been inboxing her
on Facebook. And I'm like, look, lady, you need to.
Yeah, she has been inboxing, but it was definitely the right time, the right place, and the season for it. So having that opportunity to really just be, again, transparent, but just having the stories told, because it's one thing for you to get up there and pretend to, put on this whole show. We do these big events and we're raising these funds, but people don't really get the depth of your story. They don't understand, like, even though I'm not from the city here, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but when I came here and I began to put my roots here, that's what mattered to me about the community, about giving back, and not being so much focused on the whole statistics and people saying we can't do this, women are weak and all this other stuff that we were hearing during that time and when you going through it. But it was like, all right, yeah, we big on empowerment, we big on giving back, and we're gonna do the best that we can do with the resources that we have, and be it that they limited or not, we'll get there, but in the process, it's about, helping somebody. And the most impactful show outside of the one that was about domestic violence was the one that we helped Tammy friend with a kidney, like obtaining a kidney and providing those funds, and like doing it just by our gifts and our talents and coming to really, talk about some things, but it was fun. We had a party, so everybody just enjoyed, and the kids were there, and they understood what the purpose was, and it was phenomenal. So, and she's still here.
Yeah,
so
that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, saving a life.
And that's what we really call doing the work. That's what the focus is really about. So, what's interesting is in the midst of you guys getting this off the ground and going through this process, you talked about some of the naysayers or some of the things that you guys heard. How were you able to continue to fight through that to get to where it is? Because obviously you guys had a belief in what it was that you were doing.
Right.
And I think that's important for you to really just talk about that.
Yeah, it was honestly, as a believer, it was God. And it was the people in our circle. Like, we don't have a entourage of people. We have the people that are very close-knit and understand what it is to struggle. And there were plenty of times that I cried on Tammy's shoulder, and I was just like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to, I feel like this is just like I'm going above and beyond, and people understanding that this is what we're meant to do. However, nobody's on board with it, and it took us so long to get to the point where it was like we're 6 years in right now, and those conversations and being able to say, all right, I can lean on my sister, I can lean on my brother, and they are going to help uplift me, and saying every day is not going to be perfect, but what you have is a foundation, and that's your purpose, and that's your mission. You just keep going at it, and regardless of how many doors get slammed in your face, this is what we're teaching our youth. You do not give up. You go back. So what? That was no that time. All right, get back in there. All right, maybe it's going to change. If it's no again, your resilience is everything.
Yeah.
So,
and it's been times like, we cried on each other's shoulders and things, but I also let her know too, like, we are here for a reason. Like, it's no mistake. Like, she always tell me, it's no mistake what God has put on you. It's like, there's no mistakes. And it's been times, like she said, we've been back and forth, because I've been like with comedy, I'm like, you get set up with social media and you be seeing and watching people move, but you be sitting still. And I feel like, you know, I'm sitting still. But then I'm like, she always tell me, don't worry about them. You have your own lane. You don't know what they've been through or going through. And that feel like a lot of times, sometimes social media plays a major part, and kids are on social media a lot. But my thing, and like she always tell me, what's meant for you is going to be yours, regardless of it. So, you know, you just gotta learn to stay humble and be like, you know what, that person's doing them, I'm doing me over here in my own lane, and whatever it is, I'm doing something. You know what I mean? And my thing and motto always been, as long as you're doing better than the year before, you know what I'm saying, and keep pushing. And we are each other's support system. We have the support of the group and our families, and most of all our children, like our
and
kids,
also the community, you know, and that positive energy, you know, that comes in, that's everything, you know, and it is people such as yourself with the collaborations and just meeting and networking and being part of something that's bigger than yourself, and knowing that is bigger than you, that it's not about you, it's about what you are going to do in this community and the lives that you're going to impact. So
I think that's one of the greatest things we have in our favor right now is there are so many people doing so much great work across the capital region. So many different initiatives and programs and agencies and organizations. So many people doing art and music and poetry. Like it's amazing to see, you know, if you pay attention to social media the right way.
There you go. There you go.
Don't get caught in the hubbub of the daily. You see so many people doing such inspirational work, and it's outside kind of the lines of traditional education and traditional employment.
That's
You see a lot more people taking risks on their own ideas and their own passions. Like you said, utilizing some of their own personal scars and creating a brand, creating something. As somebody said to me a few years ago, William, what you have is, it's not an agency, it's not an organization, but it's a movement.
It is a movement.
It's a movement.
There you
There's
go.
an energy behind it. People believe in you, and when you have that, it's almost like unlike anything else you could ever really see. It's never really a job. It's just, it becomes a part of life.
That's right. And when you're not doing it, you're like, wait a minute, were we supposed to do something today? I'm like, I'm like, did we have anything on the books? Tell me right now, because we don't have anything to do at this moment. I feel like there's something wrong here.
And I tell her too, because at one point when we first started Her Temple, we was trying to go so hard. We are at everybody's event. We're supporting everybody. We're passing out flyers. We letting them know who we are. It sometimes gets overwhelming. And when you're a single mom and you have children, we have to stop and think and prioritize. So that's what we focus on, like family. Our family comes first because we are mothers. And sometimes, you know, you gotta be sacrificed. Like, I can't go out and be at this event, but what I can do, I'll repost it, reshare it, and put it out. And I tell anybody that I can't physically be at every event because I'm just physically not there. But what I can do, I'll share your information and pass it along, because somebody else might not know about it. And that's another way of helping and networking in the community. But it's just like, sometimes you gotta step back, take time for yourself, plus your mental checkup, your physical checkup, and just check up with your family. And
that's so true.
Yeah, because we was running on the go for Her Temple to get off the mat.
But you have to do that. I mean, anything that you starting out, I mean, you definitely got to put the work in, and you got to continue to evolve. You got to continue to do the things that, you know, are hard to come by, and that people don't want to get out there in the trenches and do it anymore. And they're like, I think I'm gonna sleep today. I'm like, oh no, you won't.
She be on that horn.
Not today.
And it's important that you say that, because we're dealing, what people fail to realize a lot of times is we're dealing with an ever-evolving population.
Correct.
Our youth are evolving on a rapid basis. Our communities are evolving on a rapid basis. The businesses, the dynamics, everything is changing on a regular basis. So like, you really have to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, sure do.
On the ball.
Yes, you do.
Or you're messing around to be 3 years down the road and you haven't gotten the event off. Wondering, how in the world did I get? You got to be kind of ahead of the curve, because there's a lot of work being done. So when you have the opportunity to collaborate with people, or to work with, or highlight, you know, the work that other people are doing, it's a great space to be in. And also, it's just an amazing show of selflessness when you can just be like, hey, you know what? why don't you guys come through and do this? I love the work that you are doing.
Right.
I think it's it's a fear of our people in poverty to admit to other people that you're doing a good job. It's
Say that again.
That's something different.
it's like
I want you just to say,
Yeah.
every say we be like, repeat
Say it
that.
again.
That was
Repeat
right.
that.
no, seriously, it's almost as if it's difficult for people, you know,
Yeah.
coming out of poverty to say to somebody else, you're doing amazing work,
Right.
or what you're doing is great, because I think a lot of people feel like if they admit that or say that, then it's like taking away from them.
And it's not.
Me and the youth that we work with, like we have a saying, greatness over hatred, and we
There you
live by
go.
that. I tell my youth on a regular basis, I see greatness in you. You're doing a great job. I think it's
Yes.
important to empower. You know, it's important to
Yes.
empower and to spread that energy. And if I can see greatness in myself, I should be able to see it in you as well.
Exactly.
There you go.
There you
And
go.
if I want it for me, I should want it for you as well. So I think, that's just one of those things where you can only show by action.
Right.
So in trying to collaborate with people and work with people and just expand our potential on a regular basis, I try to show that, really kind of through my efforts, especially because I understand that the work that I'm doing right now, it's not for me. It's for the kids in my program.
Exactly,
There you go.
and that's why we got involved with United Sisters of New York and wanted to be very active because, as she stated, like we are single moms. So
Yes.
our kids, we needed to bring them along. And I said, okay, so this is a group that we can actually bring you
them
along
along.
Yes.
and teach you leadership skills and get to learn and mentor other youth in the community, as well as you doing volunteer work. Yes, you are. You're going to clock them hours
Yeah.
and you're going to give back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that helped us really
Really
evolve.
evolve.
And Miss Wilcox, she is amazing.
Everything.
She just, she was able to kind of just showcase to us, all right, this is what we're doing. And even though we're a sisterhood, you guys, we're going to collab together. And they became like the mothership of us, and we were like the performers. So
Amazing.
it's like just going out into the work and just kind of working hand in hand. And nobody got in their egos. Nobody felt any kind of
No
way
way.
about she's leading that and we're leading this, and this is
You
how
just,
we
everybody
go.
knows what their roles
role is,
are.
that's
Yeah,
it.
you know what I mean? You come into an event,
Fall in
you
alignment.
fall in line and things, and then, like she was saying, for us, we have daughters, and it was an easy segue to bring our daughters with us and to teach them the leadership, because nowadays you see how it is with these kids, and they need a strong role model and a person.
Absolutely.
We both have sons as well,
Well,
and
yes.
that fact there was enough, black males.
Yes.
And we're raising them, okay? So it was important for them to see us as well, engaging and not being bitter and not feeling like, okay, because of what I went through,
Right.
I can't come out and I can't express and show love. So this is teaching them, no, you're going to love on a woman and you're going to show them. And this is what women do when they want to give back and they have gone through some things. You make sure that you get out there and you're doing it right. So everything just is continuing to evolve, but we're evolving with it. And we're just really collaborating with amazing people and we're just loving it.
That's awesome. So the question I have for you guys is, what does the future of Her Temple Monologues look like?
Ooh.
Excitement.
Right.
Yes.
I feel like
You
it's
say a bright light.
yes, bright lights, like
right
these
now,
bright
right
lights.
now. Okay.
Bright lights, you
bright
heard 'em.
light.
Hear that?
Bright
Right,
light.
So
Yes.
us just traveling and really expanding and bringing the youth of the Capital District. I feel like there's so much talent here, and people have not had a chance to genuinely see what Albany has to offer, what the 518 has to offer. So just evolving in that way of just being able to transition and, get a bus, get a space,
Nice.
but take the youth and show them different things outside of the walls of these cities and stuff like
sometimes
that.
the youth can show us some things.
Yes,
you
they
know
can.
what I mean?
Yes,
Because
they can, and that's
with
why
that-
we keep them around. So
around.
we can stay young forever.
Especially they know how to work an
I wanna be young
iPhone.
forever.
Yeah, they know how to work an iphone. They know how to work all these little gadgets and things. Show us, you know what I mean? But
But yeah, just
brightness and
expanding.
then
Expanding.
traveling more, getting our name out there to different places.
Definitely.
Collaboration, big network, and
Having a space.
Peace.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Hashtag Save Our Streets. Her Temple Monologues collaboration coming soon.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to hold you to it. Because I be in your inbox like, bro.
We following up.
Yeah,
She remember that
remember
you said
that.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, any final messages to the young women of the Capital Region? What last message would you leave to our young ladies of the Capital Region?
No matter what you're going through, know your worth and values. No matter how many times somebody try to tear you down or say you ain't nothing, know that you are something, and know that you are worthy of greatness when you don't feel like you are worthy of greatness.
Absolutely. What about you?
I'm gonna say ditto because that is she knows that those are my words on so many levels. But just continue to just give back, continue to be the best version of yourself that you can completely be, and stay in your lane. You know, do what you need to do for you, but just be the best version of yourself and just live. You know, because too many people, you know, as we know, are just dying in our community senselessly. So being able to say, you know what, I think I could do something to save somebody's life, and if I can, I'm gonna do it. So be the best version of yourself. That's it.
Her Temple Monologues, hashtag Save Our Streets. Be
Yes.
great, be
Yes.
authentic, remain inspired.
Yes.
Ladies, I thank you very much for coming and spending time with us today.
Thank you.
It was greatly appreciated. Hopefully somebody's going to take something, you know, from this interview with them. And we're going to continue to do work. I look forward to all the wonderful things you are going to do and some of the things we can do together. Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Thank
Liv.
you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Yes, thank you.
Hashtag Save Our Streets.
Yes, hashtag. Look, her Temple Monologues.
Get that bag.
You can get these
Get the bag.
bags. You can get these bags.